Mr. Mayor, the first thing I want to do is thank you for the pre-K services, which are amazing. I've myself benefited from it. And I do want to speak to you now as a mother, as someone who, I run a learning center for 15 years. I went to Russell Sage. My mom was a school aide at Russell Sage. My question to you is about the schools. Why are there not more specialized high schools? Why are they not blowing up in this neighborhood? I traveled over an hour to school, back and forth for high school. Your own children attended specialized high school screens. You know firsthand what the benefit of these schools are. And respectfully, so many parents are so angry over the status of the schools right now. Please help me understand as I communicate with families now in my career navigating schools. Why York High School only has 100 kids per grade? Why not 1,000? Can you please help explain?
Great question. Thank you. So there's two answers. First is there are a lot of very, very good schools. This is just a true statement. A lot of very good schools that in some ways didn't get the reputation they deserved because they weren't some of those particularly highly regarded elite schools. And yet they had tremendous ability and tremendous potential. So one of the things we're doing, trying to bring up those schools. For example, advanced placement courses in every single high school. This is something we instituted. There was a long time, you obviously care a lot about education, where many schools had no advanced placement courses at all. We now have them in every single high school. So there are plenty of high schools that we think can be great and just as highly regarded if they get the support. But the second piece is a very fair point about the specialized schools. This is something we're going to be addressing in the coming months. There's a real desire out there for more specialized school seats. You could do that by adding to existing schools. You could do that by adding brand new specialized high schools. Both have merit. I'm very open to doing that. I do want to see a change in the admissions process to be fair. I think the current admissions process is imbalanced. I do not miss the fact that many people have said those schools matter so much to them. They don't want an admissions process that they feel will now cut their kids out. So many people work so hard to get their kids there. That's a really fair concern. And our original proposal obviously met with real concern in Albany and wasn't passed. We need to start over and have a conversation about what would be a fairer admission system than the one we have now. And then I think that is also the right time to talk about how to either expand existing specialized high schools or add some new ones. I'm going to see if we can wrap all that together. So that is a very live item on the agenda right now.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, thanks for being here. Karen, you do a great job. I want to ask you, how does this city and how does this country allow Amazon and internet retailers to sell products all over the country and skirt the cost of the city they sell to? They don't pay for the lights, they don't pay for the police, they pay for nothing, but they lob their goods into this city by free will. And the retail businesses, the bookstores are not in Queens anymore. The stores are hurting. We are storefront builders. My heritage for 50 years, the biggest union shop in New York. We own a lot of retail. How can this city and this country allow a business to operate, an internet retail business, and completely skirt the costs of the cities, the counties that they sell to? How come this government, how come this city can't impart an infrastructure tax on internet retail so we have streets, we have communities, kids have a bookstore to go to? Why do we kowtow to Jeff Bezos and his new flame so he could go buy a $180 million house, and we let him skirt everything we believe in, i.e. Main Street, business, your neighbors, and your life?
What is your first name?
Barry Rothenberg.
Barry? Okay.
Okay.
Barry,
I own on Austin Street the properties with Sephora, Shake Shack. We were the biggest union storefront builder in the United States. I worked in a shop with Umberto, bending the metal, when I was 15 years old.
Thank you, Barry.
All right?
Barry, listen.
That's an issue that the country has to grab hold of. It can't be politics. It can't be Democrat, Republican. It's got to be what's right and what's wrong
Got
to
it.
destroy working people's businesses.
Thank you, Barry.
Yes, sir.
So, Barry, I have some very personal feelings about Amazon.
Not only Amazon, all
No,
the
I'm going to talk about everything, but I want to use you
the
raised
whole
Amazon as a good
shebang.
example. By the way, everyone, they paid nothing in federal taxes last year. Nothing. And so, no, there's something really wrong with Amazon. They made a deal with the people in New York City, made a deal with Queens, and then they walked away in the dead of night. And I resent that, because everything that had been agreed to by the city and state was there, and they walked away. And they took away tens of thousands of jobs from people in these communities. But look, there's a much bigger problem. I think you're raising a really good point. You're the first person I've ever heard suggest an infrastructure for a company like Amazon, and I think you're making a really powerful point, because what they do is unlike anything we've ever seen before, and they are profiting off of a lot of public services and not paying for it. So you're making a very interesting point, and I'm going to pursue it, and I'd like to make sure we get your information.
And the organization
I got you.
could be called.
We got a lot of people,
I just
got a lot
want
of
to
people,
say
my friend.
one last
No, listen,
sentence.
everyone's gotta get it.
Level playing field is the organization.
But
Level playing field.
so we are going to follow up on that idea very seriously. It's a good one. I want our colleagues from CAU to follow up with Barry and get his information so we can keep posted. But I want to say one more thing, everybody. One of the things I talk about in my State of the City is how to protect small businesses.
No, Mr. Berry.
We're going to do a lot to try and protect our small businesses, including reducing fines and getting them loans, getting them legal help dealing with their leases, their landlords. A lot we're going to be doing. But one thing I'm going to ask everyone in this room to do: if you are worried about your neighborhood mom and pop stores, if you're worried about small business in New York City, please go shop in your neighborhood stores. Okay? Take some of the money you would have used at Amazon. Like, go to that local bookstore Barry's talking about. If you can, do it. And if you don't have one, go to whatever is local, because I'm telling you, look, we have a lot we got to try and do to fix this. But I do ask everyone can be a part of protecting small business by spending as much of your money locally as you can. Go ahead.
Thank you. I do want to thank our policemen and policewomen, as I always do. You might remember me,
Like that.
Mr. Mayor, from a few years ago. I always start off by thanking the men and women who put their lives on, line for us every single day. So thank you so much for what you all do. I believe you should be protected in every way. Something one of the other women said before resonated with me. I am a granddaughter of immigrants, and I am a daughter of immigrants who came here, and my grandfather bought one of the first houses by working very hard, in like 1938, and it's still a family home to this point. It is just disgusting that you have shoved a homeless shelter for 200 men in the neighborhood that my grandparents developed and grew up, and where I've grown up. There are 200 men, not from our community, because we keep hearing, oh, they're from your community. They're not from our community. We know that there are a lot of underhanded deals that went into this, and now there are 200 men near schools, near churches. Another preschool pulled out because they did not want to even invest the money, and now it opened up. I am trying to speak to this. It is, but no, it's a done deal, and we know it because it was shoved down our throats, and it is disgusting because now I don't feel safe here anymore. Now I have to buy more doors and a security system because you're not trying to help these men. Oh, 1 second. Or 30 seconds. You're not trying to help these men. There's nothing about it that you're going to give them any kind of help. You're warehousing them, and we are very aware of the fact what they are getting per head. Someone is making the money on it, and we know all the names, we know everything. It's just disgusting that you have done this to our community.
I want to respond to your concern, but I also want to say when anyone says something I think is just not true, I'm going to say it's not true. So you don't want a homeless shelter in your neighborhood. I'm not shocked. Excuse me. I listened and I responded. You don't want a homeless shelter in your neighborhood. But then you think you know, oh, there's deals and there's fixes and all this. It's just false. Excuse me. I'm telling you an answer to your concern because you're wrong, and I respect it why you don't want it. That's fine. I get that people don't want a homeless shelter in the neighborhood. I could go all over New York City, hear the same thing. Why are we doing this? Because we think it's fun? No. Because we think it's easy? No. Because we have people who are working people. These are working people.
You
who
created the problem. You hate us. No
I'm going to
homeless
keep trying
shelter.
to answer.
You created the problem. No homeless shelter. No homeless shelter.
Because we have
No
a
homeless
city that's
shelter.
gotten more and more expensive,
No homeless
and because
shelter.
some people were not able to stay in the housing they had, they need housing. We don't do what the West Coast does. On the West Coast, you've got tens of thousands of people on the streets. That is not, I'm trying, listen, I'm answering you. It's not warehousing. It is just not warehousing. And I'm gonna have Commissioner Banks tell you how it works. Then, if you know all about it, why are you asking a question? Yeah, you ask a question to hear a perspective. Okay, Karen? When people want to hear an answer, I'm gonna give an answer. The bottom line here is we have people who are just like everyone in this room, who are working people who lost their housing. There is a phrase, there but for the grace of God go I. I am not going to see someone who needs a home and is on the street, not have a shelter, not have a roof over their head. Our job is to get them back on their feet and get them out of shelter. We have done that so far with 140,000 people in the last 6 years. Out of shelter, into housing, back on their feet. And that's what we're going to do. And every community that has people in the shelter system should take some of the responsibility. This community board has people in the shelter system. This shelter is for working people from the borough of Queens. Now, as to how we help people back on their feet, could you explain that, please, Steve?
Thank you. Let me also, my name is Stephen Banks. I'm the Commissioner of the Department of Social Services, which includes both the Human Resources Administration and the Department of Homeless Services. And we're here together with the NYPD. We work in partnership, and you had a number of different issues. We want to address them both from what services are we providing and what are the safety and security issues. So first of all, it's important to look at this shelter in the context of what the administration has actually done to address homelessness. This has been a problem that's built up over 40 years. It didn't start 6 years ago. We have the most comprehensive program to prevent homelessness. Evictions are up all over the country. They're down more than 30% in New York City because of our provision of lawyers and other programs to prevent evictions. As the mayor said, we've gotten 140,000 people connected with permanent housing. We could do more if the Hevesy-Kruger bill passes in the legislature to help more people avoid homelessness and move out. Through our Homestead program, we brought 2,450 people off the street have remained off the street. And with the plan that the mayor announced just a month and a half ago, we're going to go even further and end long-term street homelessness based upon the record that we've shown. And we're transforming the shelter system. It used to be very haphazard. If you came from Queens, you could be sheltered in the Bronx. If you came from the Bronx, you could be sheltered in Queens. And there were not the kind of services that we've been able to put in place to address the fact that we have people in our shelter system who are working reflective of the gaps between rents and income. Income has gone up rents have gone up nearly 19%, income has gone up less than 5%. That is what is producing much of the homelessness. It's economic. And so by transforming the shelter system, we're closing 360 locations. We're out of already 200, more than 200 locations. And we are citing 90 shelters. We've already cited more than 60 of them, including the one that you're talking about. And it is designed to help people who are employed get back on their feet, connect to employment, move out of shelter as quickly as possible. It's a rapid employment rehousing center. It's not a place where people are going to be warehoused. And that has been our track record in connecting people with permanent housing and with employment. We have a community advisory board that we have set up, and we welcome your participation in that. We will continue to work with the NYPD, and I'd like to turn it over to the chief to talk about what we're doing to maintain safety in the community.
Thank you.